My beloved child, pause for a moment because what I'm about to say can't wait. Don't scroll, don't move, don't let your thoughts drift. I want you close because this isn't just another message, it's heaven reaching for your heart. There is something I've wanted to show you, something your spirit has been crying for in quiet places. You've asked questions behind closed doors. You've prayed with tears and tried to hold yourself together while no one saw the breaking inside, but I saw it. I saw every time you felt like giving up. I was there when you dropped from exhaustion, when your faith trembled, when you wondered if I even heard you. I did, I always do. And now I have something to tell you, something that can shift your life if you'll receive it. This is not an accident. You're hearing this, now you were drawn here. I arranged this holy interruption because what comes next will make sense of what hurt you, what confused you, and what seemed silent. I am speaking now not through thunder or dreams, but right here through words, carrying my breath, that stirring in your chest, that warmth, that lump in your throat. That's me saying I am here and I want your full attention. Heaven is leaning toward your world and time is moving around you. This is not small. You are not small to me. You are the one I love, the one I chose, the one I fought for in places you'll never see. You've walked through fire, not knowing it was refining you. You've carried loads that were never yours. And now I'm stepping in to carry you. Because I can't let you move forward without hearing this truth. I'm going to tell you why things happen like they did and what I'm doing next in your life. Don't miss it. Every second from here matters. Breathe in and let my words settle in the ache. I am not far, I am closer than your next breath. And what I say next will begin to heal the quiet, broken place you've been guarding. You don't know how long I've waited for this moment. You measure time by clocks and calendars. I measure it by your longing, by your midnight cries, by the ache you couldn't name. Every sigh reached me, and I held it. This isn't just a talk, it's a release, an unveiling that has grown through every heartbreak you survived, every disappointment you outlasted, every hope you guarded in secret. I've been patient watching over you. You're standing on holy ground because my presence is wrapping around your reality in a new way. I held back this revelation until your heart could receive it, until your spirit could hold the weight of what I'm placing in your life. Nothing was delayed from neglect. Every second was timed to perfection. You thought I was quiet, but I was working. You thought I ignored you, but I was protecting you from what would have crushed you if given too soon. Now the air is shifting. It's not about surviving the storm anymore. It's about stepping into the authority I put in you. I didn't wait because I was distant. I waited because I love you too much to give you what would have scared you before you were ready. This is the moment I longed for, to watch your eyes open, not only to pain but to the purpose it shaped. What felt like loss was leverage. What looked like rejection was redirection onto the road that leads to your breakthrough. I see how tired you are from holding it together. The world misread your silence, overlooked your loyalty, mislabeled your journey, but I never misread your heart. I knew your motives, I knew your intentions, and I knew how you kept trusting, even when everything inside you shook. And that's why now, at this exact second, I'm saying what couldn't be said before. You were never walking in circles. You were being circled by angels, guarded by grace, guided by my hand, even when it felt like wandering. What I am unfolding now isn't random. It's the crescendo of years of quiet orchestration. The people who left made space for divine connections I'm bringing. The plans that failed fell so heaven's blueprint could take shape. The tears you cried in secret watered the soil of your destiny. I counted each one, and now those tears will reap a harvest, not later, not someday, but now. This moment is sacred. The thing that haunted you will become your testimony. The voice that felt distant will flood your life with clarity. I am telling you, you were never forgotten, never passed over, never dismissed in heaven's timeline. I waited for this second, this perfect intersection of your readiness and my purpose. Don't rush this, sit with me, because from here, your life won't look like it used to. You crossed a line. What's behind you can't define you. What's ahead is bigger than you dared to ask. You weren't late, you weren't left out, you were led. And now I'll tell you what you were born to hear when the world grew quiet and your thoughts got loud. I watched you try to make sense of it. You asked questions no one heard. You looked up with tear-filled eyes, hoping for a whisper, a sign, a single word to calm the storm inside. I saw the way your soul leaned not to noise but to stillness. Because you hoped I still spoke, and I did. I never stop. But some things I say only in stillness, truths that echo not in sound, but in your spirit. You were not lost. I drew you where you could hear me without distraction. And now I'm speaking into the void that has drained you, not with thunder or flashes, but with clarity that cuts confusion, with words that wrap your doubt like a warm blanket. I am not giving vague comfort, I am giving divine insight. What you thought was absence was invitation. Your questions were not failure, they were sacred, they brought you to revelation. You wondered if I was disappointed in your wondering. I wasn't, I welcomed it. When your soul seeks truth, it draws me near. And now I respond not with all the answers you expected, but with the wisdom you need. I'm not here to explain every mystery. I'm here to walk with you through what you couldn't carry alone. This is not about solving everything. It's about healing the ache of not knowing. You asked why waiting hurt, why prayers seemed to bounce back, why the pain didn't end when you thought it would. Here's my answer. Every silent stretch was space carved for instruction. The ache wasn't abandonment, it was the soil being tilled for understanding. And today I'm planting in that soil, not just comfort, not just reassurance, but a voice that ends fear and brings peace. My voice is coming to you through this message, not as a far echo, but as present presence. Let every word soak in, like rain on dry ground. This isn't to hype you, it's to awaken you. You learn to survive in the dark, but I've come to light the path. What your mind couldn't figure out, I will reveal to your heart, not all at once, but steadily, until you stop grasping for fragments and start seeing the picture. Peace will sit where torment lived, not because the situation changed first, but because you realize I've been speaking all along. You're not alone in your thoughts. I'm woven into the questions you've carried, and I invite you to hear me, not with ears, but with your deepest self. I have come not just to answer, but to transform, to rebuild what confusion eroded. And after this, your silence will not feel empty again, because you'll know when the world is quiet. I'm near to speak again. There is a stirring in you. You can't name an intensity around your chest, an awareness rising. This is not coincidence, not confusion, not something you made up. That pull deep in your soul, that weight of emotion, that trembling you can't explain. It's me reaching into your core, not to startle you, but to align you. This breath is sacred. You didn't stumble onto these words by chance. You were led here by a love that has been chasing you through every chapter. I've pressed on your awareness through sleepless nights, quiet tears, and those moments you paused and thought something is missing. You tried to ignore the echo, but it returned. The sense there is more, that you're being pulled toward something you can't describe. That whisper in your bones is me. I've been surrounding you, speaking my name into your thoughts, calling you from the noise into stillness, where my voice waits. It's not anxiety, it's awakening. It's not fear, it's focus. The discomfort isn't punishment. It's me, loosening your grip on what can't go with you. You learned to survive, but I didn't call you to survive. I called you to thrive in my presence. You weren't made to live numb, confused, or split inside. That unrest is a holy alarm telling you I'm closer than ever. I'm calling you into alignment with purpose, into clarity about your identity, into relationship beyond words, religion, or routine. This is me and you, not performance, not perfection, just presence. You felt misunderstood because what I'm doing in you is spiritual, intimate, heavenly. Others weren't meant to define it. It's between us. What you feel now, this weight, this trembling, this overflow, is holy. Don't shut it down. Let it rise. Let it wash walls you built to cope. Let it soften what disappointment hardened. I am calling you by name, and when I call, it shakes every lie. It unsettles fear. It exposes empty places you tried to fill with what never satisfied, and it brings truth. You were made for more than enduring. You were made for closeness with me. That's why I'm pulling you in, not to overwhelm, but to restore. There is nearness I'm offering now that can't be earned, only received. Don't harden your heart, don't run, don't reason away, stay, breathe, listen, because this nearness isn't just a moment, it's preparation for an encounter that will change how you see everything. What you feel is the beginning of transformation. You may have gone unnoticed by people, but never by me. In rooms where you faded, in conversations where your voice shook and no one leaned in nights you cried yourself to sleep, I was there. I counted every tear before it fell. I felt what you carried before anyone saw. You weren't overlooked by me, not for a second. Your name was never lost in the noise. I've spoken it before angels. I've woven your worth into heaven itself. Your pain hasn't been ignored. It's been gathered and transformed into the ground of the healing I'm bringing. The world sees loudness and polish and performance, but I don't look where they look. I don't measure by their standards. I don't need applause to affirm your value. I see you when you can't see yourself. I watch you love when it isn't returned, give when your hands are empty, try again when you want to disappear. You learn to function with wounds, you learn to smile while breaking. But now I am stepping into that hidden room where you locked sorrow so you wouldn't burden anyone. I'm opening the door, not for shame, but for restoration. Those tears weren't wasted. They planted something eternal. You thought they were weakness, they were proof of strength. They showed how deeply you still hoped and believed, even without recognition. I'm not ashamed of your tears, I treasure them. And now I am answering. What was in the dark is coming to light, not for exposure, but for renewal. I'm honoring places that knew only shame. I'm lifting your head, not just because it's time, but because you're more precious than you know. I don't just see your tears, I understand them. I know the stories behind them that no one asked. And I want you to know this. I wept with you, not as a distant watcher, but as a loving Savior who feels what you feel. Every tear marked a moment I worked behind the veil. Every tear became a thread I'm weaving into beauty from pain. Don't believe the lie that you're forgotten. I have never turned away. While others scrolled past your suffering, I stayed, and I will keep staying, because your value doesn't fade when your strength does. You're not hidden to me. You are the heartbeat of my compassion, and those tears will not end in sorrow. They will water the ground where joy rises again. You've done everything to keep going with that heaviness, pressing your chest. You've masked the pressure behind routine, behind a tired smile, behind quiet spirals at night. You carried it into your dreams, into your conversations, into the places no one sees. You've carried what wasn't meant to be held alone. You told yourself, if you push a little longer, you'll feel lighter, but the weight stayed. It kept pressing, draining your energy and stealing peace. I see it. I know it. You didn't have words for it, but I know it completely. You wrapped it in silence, called it strength, and named it responsibility. But what you call strength, I call burden. What you've normalized, I call overload. I did not create you to walk through life suffocating under what you feel you must fix, hide, or endure. I'm not asking you to hold it together, I'm asking to hold you. The pressure and tension you keep pushing down, I want them not because I need them, but because they're crushing you. I formed you to flourish, not to be crushed. You were not made to be a container for pain. You were made to be a vessel of peace, a carrier of joy, a reflection of my love. Yet you're weighed down by expectations, by memories, by guilt, by what-ifs, by worries that shout louder than hope. I didn't come to watch you carry it, I came to lift it. I want you to lay it down, not some of it, but all of it. Every hidden wound, every quiet fear, place it at my feet. Let me lift it, not for a moment, but for real. I'm not offering brief relief, I'm offering an exchange. Your burden for my strength, your anxiety for my peace, your sorrow for my comfort. But you must surrender, not because you failed, but because you were never meant to bear this alone. You learned to cope with heaviness, but I didn't call you to manage pain. I called you to freedom. The inner pressure you've accepted is not your identity. It's not your cross. It's not a sign of maturity. It's a signal something must be released. And I am here, arms open, heart ready, give it to me. Let me absorb what's been draining you. Let me quiet what's been shaking you. You don't need a breakdown to hand me what's heavy. You don't need rock bottom for me to move. I'm not waiting for collapse. I'm inviting you to rest right now. This isn't about proving strength. It's about letting yourself be held. Exhale now. Stop pretending. Stop enduring. Release it. Say it. Cry it. Whisper it. I will catch every part of it. I am the only one who can carry it without breaking, and I will not just carry the weight. You will watch me turn it into something glorious. This burden is not the end. It's where surrender births breakthrough. You've held yourself up long enough. You pushed through waves never meant to be faced alone. I've watched you carry with shaking hands, trying to convince yourself and others that you're okay, while your eyes and chest said otherwise. You kept the pain private, thinking if you hold on a little longer it will settle. But hear me. Your strength served its season. Now it's time for mine. You've done enough. You've tried, you endured, you stood when the ground crumbled, but even the strongest were never meant to fight alone forever. I see the weariness behind your smile, the fatigue in quiet moments. You don't have to keep proving how much you can bear. I never asked you to prove anything. I asked you to trust me, and that includes trusting me enough to let go of being unshakable. My strength begins where yours ends, and right now I extend it, not because you failed, but to show how powerful my presence is when you let me take over. You're not meant to run on empty or live on scraps of peace. I offer a well that doesn't run dry, but to draw from it, you must release the pressure to hold everything together. I am the glue for what's breaking the fire when your spark is gone, the steady hand when your grip slips. You don't have to wake up scraping for enough strength to reach the next hour. That is not the life I died to give you. I didn't rescue you so you would keep drowning in expectation, grief, and fear. You are exhausted, not because you're weak, but because you've worked outside the grace I'm pouring out. My grace is not theory, it is power. It lifts it, shields it, absorbs, and I'm offering it now, not in part, but in full. Lean on me, collapse into me. Let me stand for you when your legs can't. This chapter won't be defined by what you carried, but by how deeply you let me carry you. You won't earn strength by pushing harder, you'll receive it by yielding deeper. Rest isn't a prize after the fight, it's the strategy I designed to carry you through. I didn't call you to constant tension, I called you to dependence. No more hiding behind busy. No more covering vulnerability with perfection. No more saying I'm fine while unraveling. Bring me your breaking point, and I'll make it your breakthrough point. My strength is ready, waiting for your surrender, your yes. The moment you say, Jesus, I can't do this alone, you'll feel the weight shift. Calm will rise, and you'll feel me take hold, not as a distant savior, but as present support. From now on, you don't have to be strong for everyone. You only need to be held by me. You've walked through shadows, carrying questions that echo at night and weigh more in the morning. You wondered if you missed a sign, took a wrong turn, or disappointed me. You replayed moments, second-guessed choices, tried to trace meaning from silence. You are not weak for wondering, you are not lost for asking. These aren't doubts. They are the cries of a heart trying to understand a journey that didn't go like it hoped. And I am not angry. I welcome your questions. I sit with them because I know where they come from. You don't ask because you lack faith. You ask because you kept holding on while trembling. Now let me give you permission to not have all the answers. What looked like chaos was hidden, choreography, unseen battles, interventions, and redirections, working even when they looked like closed doors and detours. You saw what broke and called it failure. I saw release. I let relationships end that would have drained you. I let dreams fall that were built on weak ground. I stretched time so patience could shape you into someone who can carry what's coming. Every delay, every no, every season without explanation wasn't random, it was refinement. Yes, I know it hurt, I know it didn't make sense. I know it made you feel like I stepped back, but I never left. Even in your deepest questions, I stayed. I cried with you. I fought for you. I shielded you from things you never saw. And though I didn't remove all pain, I braided purpose into it, because sacred growth often comes not from explanations, but from trusting me in what you can't explain. And you did with a shaking voice, a flickering faith, a numb heart. You still looked for me, and I saw it all, the inside battles, the mental weight, the whisper, why is it like this? And here's my answer. It had to be this way. Not to harm you, but to prepare you. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. Unanswered prayers rerouted. Doors closed became canvases. I'm now painting with colors beyond what you imagined. I'm not done. Nothing was wasted, not a tear, not a question. The road you thought was falling apart was being redirected toward something eternal. You will see it, the connections that make sense, the breakthrough to explain the silence, the provision that redeems the pain. You'll look back at what crushed you and realize it deepened your roots. For now, keep breathing, keep trusting, keep walking though you don't understand, because I'm walking with you, and clarity will come. This has not only been about pain and survival, it's been a divine excavation. What looked like a storm meant to shake you was a process to expose what needed healing and make room for what's next. The struggle was never random. Beneath everything I have been shaping what lasts. The resistance you met wasn't punishment, it was pressure, revealing what hid too long. When I allow struggle, I'm not abandoning you. I'm awakening what can't rise without fire. I know it's been heavy. You asked, why is it so personal? Why does it feel like I'm being undone from the inside? The reason is this: I'm not after surface changes. I'm restoring from the inside. What you call struggle, I call construction. I've been digging into foundations, not to destroy you, but to strengthen what's beneath, so the next season won't collapse. There were cracks forming patterns, limiting growth, thoughts that bound you, cycles hiding as normal, and I couldn't let you carry them into what I wrote next. So yes, I allowed discomfort. I allowed breaking to bring breakthrough. I don't just want to fix what hurt you. I want to rewire what taught you to expect pain. I don't just want to remove fear, I want to replace it with truth. So strong fear loses ground. I'm walking you through this, not dragging you. I'm not standing over you demanding change. I'm beside you, loving you into it. This feels intense because it's not just about what happens around you, it's about what I'm activating in you. Strength you didn't know. Faith not built on outcomes, but on my presence, endurance that grows in the dark. You thought it was about money or relationships or health or rejection, but it's deeper. It's about identity, about reclaiming who you really are, not who life told you to be. The struggle is stripping old stories that said you're too broken, too late, too unqualified, and I'm writing a new story from the ashes of this very battle. I'll show it piece by piece. Don't rush it. I'm working in your soul, and when I finish, you'll understand. You'll see how it fits as one tapestry with purpose. For now, know this. Your struggle isn't defeat, it's proof something holy is forming in you. Don't resist the process. Rest in my promise. I will show you how even the hardest parts were never wasted. You'll see depth, you'll see reason, and you'll see me in the center, never letting go. I know how hard it was to wait, while others moved ahead to hold hope, while the door stayed closed to feel time against you. You thought silence meant rejection, that my stillness meant I was displeased. Hear me, what you took as denial was my shielding. You didn't fail, you weren't forgotten, you were preserved for timing that had to be exact. You wanted movement, I wanted maturity. You wanted access, I wanted alignment, because what you asked for would have harmed you if it arrived before your soul could carry it. I'm not interested in gifts that impress people, but destroy your peace. I love you too much to hand things over prematurely. I didn't say no, I said not yet, while I set what you couldn't see. Detours and delays didn't break you, they built you. They taught patience when your flesh wanted speed, sharpened discernment, when feelings blurred truth, and equipped you to stand when life shook. I kept you from rooms not ready for you and from bonds that would drain purpose. I blocked shiny chances with hidden costs. Every delay was a hand holding back the flood until the foundation was strong. You see a pause, I see purpose. I'm not late or distant, I'm right on schedule, working not for quick thrills, but lasting impact. You felt left behind, but I pulled you ahead of pain that could have swallowed you. I didn't forget what you prayed. I kept every word and tear and surrender, and now see, this delay isn't denial, it's preparation. I wasn't withholding to punish, I was widening your capacity. The things you waited longest for are the ones I'm most involved in. I don't rush what I love. I love you too much to let you settle. Some doors closed, not from lack of faith, but because I had a better destination. Yes, waiting stretched, you brought you to your knees, made you feel stuck. But in that stillness, I did surgery on your soul. I untangled fear from your hopes, pulled out pride, hiding as persistence, and healed wounds that would have bled into your blessing. Now that the secret work is done, I'm bringing you into a season of visible release, but you'll carry it differently, with security, not striving with authority, not anxiety with fire, not fear, because you'll know what it cost. You'll remember what I kept you from, and when the doors open, you'll walk through humble, because you saw me in the waiting and found me faithful. Honor the delay. It was mercy. It was my hand shielding what you couldn't see, and because you trusted me, I am releasing what only comes after refining. Watch closely. What's ahead bears my signature. You didn't miss it. You were made ready. You stood with hope and prayed with boldness and believed I would make a way. And when the doors stayed shut, you questioned your worth, your choices, even your purpose. You thought if it didn't open, you were unqualified. But hear me, those doors didn't open because they weren't part of your story. They weren't in the script I wrote. You saw opportunity, I saw what was behind it. You saw progress, I saw pain they would bring. I didn't withhold out of disappointment, but out of devotion. My love protects. I don't only prepare things for you, I prepare you for right things. When something doesn't open, it's not a mark against you, it's a sign. I'm guarding your calling. You saw the outside of those doors, the title, the comfort, the approval. But I saw what hid beyond, and some doors, no matter how golden, would have taken more than they gave. You would have compromised too much, lost yourself too deeply, tried to hold a blessing that wasn't from me. Not every open door is divine, and not every closed door is loss. I closed what needed to stay shut so I could guide you to what your heart truly wants. Peace that can't be shaken, joy that lasts, purpose that reaches into eternity. I know it hurt. I saw your tears when hopes crumbled, but I wasn't absent, I was near. I gently pulled you from what would have damaged your soul. I want more than temporary relief. I want fullness that carries my presence, purpose that agrees with my promises, and chances that won't make you shrink to fit. What I open won't ask you to abandon who you are. What I bring won't ask you to dim your light. When the door is from me, it won't feel like striving, it will feel like peace. You won't have to beg or chase. You'll walk with assurance, and it will fit because I designed it for you. Breathe. Stop mourning what didn't happen. Don't stare at locked doors like they were your chance. They were protection. You weren't left out, you were led out. And what I'm bringing you into isn't just a door, it's a gate into more than you imagined. The closed doors taught you discernment, trained your heart to spot the counterfeit, and now you're ready to recognize what's truly from me. The next door that opens won't ask you to doubt my love again. You've waited, wept, and wondered if anything would shift. You stared at unopened doors so long, disappointment felt normal, and hope felt risky. But prepare yourself. I am opening what no person, no circumstance, and no darkness can close. This isn't a scrape-through moment. This is a divine release, a key turning on something sealed by my authority, made for your name, your purpose, your destiny. What I'm setting in motion can't be stopped by doubt or revoked by those who misjudged you. They didn't authorize it, so they can't cancel it. The enemy tried to tell you access was denied because you weren't enough, but he is afraid because I'm giving you entry into favor and breakthrough that will shift everything. This isn't about proving them wrong, it's about proving my promise true. What's opening is bigger than you asked. You prayed for a door, I'm giving a gateway. This isn't a seasonal lift, it's a lasting shift. I'm not giving a glimpse, I'm placing a key no one else can use. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. It wasn't made for them, it was shaped for you by your tears, refined by your trials, activated by your endurance. This is the reward of staying faithful in the hallway, when all you had was my word and a locked door. You didn't quit when leaving would be easier. You didn't stop praying when it seemed pointless. You kept knocking, and now the latch is lifting, and behind it is not just opportunity, but destiny. This door won't be like the ones you begged for. It comes with peace, provision, clarity, and alignment. You won't have to force it. You won't fight for recognition. I've already put your name on the other side. No one can steal it. Those who tried to shut you out will watch as I bring you into the place they said you'd never reach, and you will enter without pride, but with humility, reverence, and gratitude, because you'll know this was me opening it, because the time has come. No demon can hold it. No opinion can overrule it. No past mistake can disqualify you. When I open, it stays open, not for a moment, but for a movement. This door is more than access. It's an announcement that your wilderness is ending. It's the start of harvest, where seeds you forgot you planted break through, and as you walk through, you'll see why others stayed shut. You'll see I'm not just moving for now. I'm establishing legacy, stability, and fruit that lasts. Lift your eyes. Shake off sorrow for what didn't happen. You're about to step into what couldn't happen until now. I'm not just unlocking the way, I'm walking you through it. And once I open it, nothing and no one will shut it. This moment is not ordinary, and neither is what you're stepping into. Understand where you are. Not by location, but in spirit. You're at a threshold, so sacred heaven is watching your next step. You're not just moving into a new chapter, you're crossing into something that will shape the rest of your life and echo into eternity. What's ahead isn't only a reward for surviving, it's a commissioning. I've led you here quietly, sometimes through detours that confused you and silence that tested you, but every step brought you to this edge. You're standing between what has been and what will never be the same. This is holy ground, and the tension you feel, the mix of anticipation, fear, and awe, is your spirit. Knowing what's ahead is not just a blessing, it's a calling that marks your legacy. What I'm unfolding won't just lift your life, it will touch lives tied to your obedience. You thought this was only about your healing, your breakthrough, your answers. It's bigger. It's about generations rising from your surrender. Lives change because you trusted me when you couldn't see chains breaking, because you refused to quit. I'm positioning you to receive and to release. This is destiny and compassion and wisdom entrusted. That's why the pressure was intense and the fire fierce. I was refining you. You're not being elevated for applause, you're being trusted with purpose. Don't fear it. Don't wonder if you're ready. I've already equipped you. Everything you need is in you, some dormant, some still unfolding, all of it placed by me. You may feel unqualified, unsure, undeserving. That's why I'm leading. I don't call the prepared, I prepare the called, and you are called, not by accident or by people, but by me. You're at this edge because grace carried you. Now, as you look forward, release the fear that something will go wrong. Let go of the hesitation rooted in old disappointments. What's coming is not a repeat of yesterday, it's new. You're about to feel my guidance so clearly it will be undeniable. You will walk into moments that feel unreal because they answer prayers you forgot. This is an unveiling one step at a time, but you must move. You can't live on the edge forever. Faith isn't comfort, it's courage. And courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving anyway, knowing who is with you. I will walk you into this. I go before you and surround you. Nothing on the other side of this threshold is beyond what I've overcome. This is a launch into destiny, a shift that realigns everything. And this time, you won't be overwhelmed, you'll be empowered. You're not who you were. This isn't where your story levels out, it's where it rises. The edge you stand on isn't an end, it's a beginning. Designed by me, sustained by me, waiting for your yes. You sense the shift, you hear the invitation, you feel the change. But before you step, I need to slow you, not to delay you, but to anchor you. Something is unfolding that can't be approached casually. It's not just a new phase, it's alignment with a plan I've been weaving longer than you know. If you move too quickly, you'll miss the reason behind the release. You'll chase what's visible and ignore the invisible foundation under your weighting. So I pause you not to confuse you, but to make you aware. I've been dismantling things in secret places. Old beliefs, hidden fears, false identities, shaped by rejection and disappointment. You're eager to run toward the promise, but I must be sure that what's buried under excitement won't sabotage what I trust you with. This isn't about proving faith, it's preparing your heart. I'm not asking you to sprint, I'm asking you to pay attention. This isn't just transition, it's transformation. And I don't want pieces of your old season planted in this new soil. If you do, you'll try to rebuild what I've outgrown. You'll use methods that don't work anymore. You'll speak words over your future born from past wounds, and that's not your identity or your voice. Here's the truth about what I've been doing. I've been softening hard places, untangling you from hidden ties, removing wrong voices that planted fear in your confidence. I haven't rushed because I'm not building something temporary. I'm building what lasts, and what lasts needs eternal perspective. So listen, I'm not only blessing your steps, I'm correcting your vision. I'm recalibrating discernment so you won't mistake distraction for direction. I'm tuning your ears to hear my whisper without second guessing. I'm clearing emotional clutter so your heart can carry revelation. What's ahead can't be stewarded casually. It's holy, and so are you. This next part requires awareness that comes from communion with me, not from speed, not from ambition, but from intimacy. If you rush, you'll arrive at a place your character can't hold. If you pause with me, I'll send you forward with clarity. Nothing can shake. I don't want you stepping hoping it works. I want you stepping knowing it's me. That assurance comes when you know the author behind the assignment. I want you to know me, not secondhand, not by routine, but by encounter. Sit with me in this stillness. Let me show you what I healed. Let me highlight the lies you're free from. Let me remind you who you are when you're not performing or pretending. You'll see the wilderness was a womb, the delay was development, the silence was strategy. This moment doesn't hold you back. It launches you with wisdom, precision, and vision. And when it's time to move, you won't hesitate. You'll walk with fire, because you'll know not just where you're going, but why. And that will make all the difference. You've stepped into rooms hoping to be embraced, but left feeling like a shadow. You smiled through the sting of being unseen, changed your tone and posture to fit. You celebrated others while silencing your own need to be noticed. And the ache stayed. The ache of being present, but overlooked, involved, but not valued, near, but not welcomed. Hear me, you were never invisible to me. In every place your worth was missed, I saw it. I watched you make room for others while shrinking your own light. I saw how you gave without recognition, loved without limits, served with an empty heart. They may have missed it, but I didn't. And their inability to see you never measured your identity. I didn't place you there for validation, but for formation. I watched how you would respond when you weren't the center, when applause didn't come, when doors didn't swing, not because I enjoy your discomfort, but because I was growing a strength that only grows in hidden places. I was forming depth that can't grow in popularity. I let you feel the sting of being underestimated, so when I lift you, you'll carry it with grace, not pride. When I promote you, you'll remember the weight of being unseen, and you won't let others feel what you felt. The way you kept your heart soft mattered. The way you loved after being overlooked moved me. The way you honored others from the shadows was worship, and now I am shifting your position. Not so former doubters will praise you, but so you can finally see yourself through my eyes. No more rooms where you must prove your worth. No more tables where you fight for a seat. I'm preparing places where your presence is needed, your voice valued, your gifts recognized, and your heart safe. Not because you need to be seen to matter, but because it's time for others to see what I've seen all along. I watched you be loyal in the background and never let bitterness root. That's why I can trust you with visibility. You won't misuse influence or chase attention. You'll lift others' love well and lead with humility. And those places that dismissed you will witness my favor, not as revenge, but as revelation. They'll see what they missed, that you carry my presence, my wisdom, my purpose, and you will no longer wonder if you belong. You'll walk sure you were never overlooked. You were reserved for something greater than applause. Set apart for influence, born in silence, watered by humility, and raised by my hand. You didn't always say it out loud, but your soul wept behind steady words and practiced smiles. There were moments your heart broke in secret, and you didn't need to scream for help, because I heard every unspoken cry. I felt the sorrow sitting in your chest. While the world moved on in nights, your pillow caught what your voice could not. In still moments where your only prayer was a tear, I was there, leaning close. I never needed noise to respond. Your pain spoke a language that pierced heaven. Every breath laced with grief, every pause heavy, every heartbeat carrying hidden pain. I heard it all. You thought no one knew. You believed no one would understand, but I knew, and I understood. I took every unspoken word into my own heart, and I didn't look away. Even when you wondered if I listened, I never turned from you. Even when you feared your silence was too quiet for heaven, I was already moving in ways you couldn't see. Your cries were never wasted. They were seeds of surrender, moments of pure honesty I gathered like treasure. The world answers volume, but I answer the whisper of brokenness. I lean into honest stillness, and your quiet suffering moved me more than you know. You don't have to hide it. You don't have to fear what others would think if they saw how much you've been holding. I already see it all, and I'm not overwhelmed. I'm moved with compassion. The sorrow you thought you had to carry alone, I'm lifting now, not because you finally broke, but because you've opened the door. You gave me access, not with speeches, but with ache. You made room not with long prayers, but with silence, and I honor that. I'm not asking for eloquence, I'm not waiting for perfect words. All I ask is surrender, and you've already offered it in those hidden tears. Those moments counted in eternity. They weren't invisible or ignored. You matter to me far more than your circumstances. You are seen in stillness, loved in low points, cherished when no one checks in. I've counted every tear and woven them into the healing I'm bringing. I'm sending peace where anxiety lived too long. I'm breathing hope into rooms you cried in, and I'm bringing joy to the same heart that thought it would never feel light again. This is the part where restoration begins, not because you shouted for it, but because I heard the whisper no one else could. You've cried long enough in the dark. Morning is coming, and with it a joy so personal and bright that even your quietest sorrow will be answered with light. You may have wondered if I was watching from far away, too holy to touch your struggle. But that's not who I am. I've never been far. I've never taken a passive role. I didn't glance and move on. I walked with you through every hidden second. My presence didn't flicker in and out with your emotions. I've been active in ways you didn't recognize, in decisions you wrestled with. I gave gentle nudges in moments you felt like collapsing. I was the stillness holding you together. When you thought I can't take another step, I was the strength moving you anyway. You don't know how many collisions I rerouted, betrayals, I blocked spirals, I interrupted. My involvement is not casual, it's constant. I'm in the details, the ones others call coincidence. I showed up in conversations that brought clarity at the right time. I sent peace when peace made no sense. I covered you with unseen grace when your world shook. I'm not only with you when you pray, I'm with you when you doubt. I don't only show up in churches, I stand beside you in hallways, hospital rooms, grocery lines, and traffic. There hasn't been a second I wasn't there. You don't have to climb to reach me or find perfect words. I'm already here. And when you sighed in frustration, when you buried your face in your hands, when your heart broke mid-sentence, and you pretended you were fine, I was there. I held the pieces. I noticed the shift. I placed my hand on the bruised places, not with judgment, but with tenderness. I'm not a far-off God. I chose to dwell with you, not reign from a distance. I stepped into time and pain so I could walk beside you. I wrote myself into your story, not as a background character, but as the one who has fought for you from the start. I've guided your path even when you felt lost. You asked, "Are you even here?" And I answer, "I am here, and I have never left." I've been in every high and low, every turn and delay. Even the parts that felt small, I used them too. Nothing is wasted, not your pain, not your prayers, not your struggle. I'm involved deeper than you know, and I'm not stepping away now. I'm drawing closer because what comes next requires you to walk aware that I am not background. I am your help, your foundation, your source, your shield, your guide. You don't have to beg for my involvement. Just remember, it has always been yours. There were days you whispered in the dark, hoping someone would notice the weight you carried. You questioned why I felt distant when your world shook. You thought my silence meant absence, but I was never on the other side of your pain. I was shoulder to shoulder with you each step through the valley. You couldn't always feel me, but I never stopped surrounding you. Your perception missed my nearness, but I never stepped back. The isolation you felt wasn't my withdrawal. It was the pressure of a season that needed silence to shape something deeper. I wasn't hiding, I was holding space for your emotions, holding back what would break you, holding your soul when you felt like letting go. Every time you said I can't, I whispered I'm still here. Even when you turned your face from me, I never turned mine. My footsteps matched yours when you were too numb to speak, too tired to cry, too worn to believe. When you said no one understands, I did. I knew the questions you couldn't form, the ache behind the quiet, the weight of disappointment you couldn't explain. I walked through it with you, not only as a witness, but as a savior who felt every piece. I absorbed your loneliness. I stood in the gap when your faith faded. I whispered hope while you lay still. You thought emptiness meant I was gone, but I was present in ways the human heart can't always sense. Sometimes I allow stillness not to hurt you, but to clear the noise that drowns my voice. Sometimes I seem quiet because I'm so close. I don't need to shout, so close. My breath is in your lungs, so close I catch your tears before they fall. I've walked with you in rain and drought, in silence and storm. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. I've walked behind you to cover your back when you didn't know who to trust ahead of you, to make crooked places straight, and beside you when you believed no one cared. I never stopped caring. I never tired of you. I never questioned staying. You are mine, and a loving father doesn't abandon his own. I was there in the hospital and at the graveside when the text didn't come, the job didn't work, the dream slipped. I was there when you smiled through pain just to make it. You wondered where I went, but I never left. If you saw what I see, you'd know how many times I lifted you when you were falling, how many times I redirected what could destroy you, how my presence held your life together when everything felt torn. I've walked with you through hidden heartbreak, quiet victories, and internal battles, and I'm not going anywhere. You are not walking alone. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. My footsteps are beside yours still, and they always will be. Everything is shifting not only around you, but within you, because I am entering your present in a way you haven't known. You've known me as the one who sustained you, the one who stood quietly when life was loud. But now I'm not just watching or whispering. I'm stepping into your world with unmistakable nearness. You will feel me in your decisions. You will notice me in your surroundings. I am coming close, not in theory, but in reality. You're about to know my nearness, not as a hope, but as a certainty. This is not a faint breeze, it is a holy arrival. You will walk into rooms that feel different, because I got there first. You will step into moments so perfectly timed, so gently arranged that you won't question whether I am involved. I am placing my hand on your everyday life, on your mornings and your nights, your errands and your routines, your quiet moments and your noisy ones. I'm stepping into your present, not only into emergencies or big breakthroughs, but into the normal places where you felt you had to carry everything alone. I am weaving my peace into your atmosphere, my wisdom into your thoughts, and my strength into your tired places. You don't have to perform to receive this. I'm here, not because you earned it, but because I love you too much to let you walk the next stretch, wondering where I am. I want you to notice my fingerprints on the pages of your day. The coincidence you're about to see is my careful choreography. The idea that lands in your heart like lightning, that's my voice. The calm that interrupts your anxiety, that's my arrival. The solution that surprises you after a long wait, that's not luck, that's me stepping in. I'm making my presence unmistakable, not to prove myself, but to settle your heart. I want you to stop guessing, to stop wondering if I'm near. You won't have to hunt for signs. You'll see me in motion. I'm filling your space with clarity and comfort. You'll notice it in the way your shoulders release and your thoughts quiet after restless days. I'm coming into chaos not to condemn it, but to bring order. I'm answering your questions not merely to give answers, but to reveal myself inside them. I want to walk with you not only spiritually, but practically. In your words and choices, in your decisions and deadlines. I'll be with you in conversations, helping you choose peace. I'll be with you at work, guiding your steps so favor surrounds you. I'll be with you in your private thoughts, whispering truth before lies take root. This is not distance, this is closeness. As I draw near, things will change, not by force but by alignment. You'll feel the shift. Relationships that confused you will either fall away or be transformed. Habits that held you back will loosen their grip. Desires you thought had died will return, refined, repurposed, and filled with meaning. This is not a brief visit, this is an indwelling. I am not here to touch your life and leave. I am here to stay, to build something lasting, sacred, and unshakable. I want to live in your yes and be present in your pauses. I want to make your life my home, not a place I enter only when you feel spiritual. This is a beginning, child, and as I step in, everything else will find its place. What felt out of rhythm will sink, because where I live, disorder has to leave. Where I reign, confusion bows. Where I speak, truth sets everything in motion. So open the door wide. I am not knocking just to be noticed. I am entering to transform. Every word you've released toward heaven, whispered in weakness, spoken in desperation, or cried from the depths, has carried more weight than you knew. Your prayers have disrupted darkness. They sent tremors through places your eyes have never seen. What felt like simple cries for help were declarations that echoed in the unseen, shaking foundations that stood against you. The spiritual atmosphere has been responding, not slowly or softly, but immediately. There has been warfare you couldn't see because of the faith you chose, when everything around you said, "Give up." You thought your prayers were small, ineffective, even unheard. They were none of those things. They were thunder in the spirit, arrows against deception, the sound of surrender that sliced through resistance and invited my authority into impossible places. You prayed under pressure and assumed little had changed, but your persistence has been breaking barriers that have stood for generations. Chains around your family line are weakening, old strongholds are cracking. The enemy hoped you'd stay silent, that disappointment would muzzle your prayers, that distraction would dull your hunger. But you kept praying, even when it hurt, even when you had no words, even when all you could say was Jesus. My name did not return empty. It pierced confusion and despair. It released power that is turning tides you thought were permanent. You are not just surviving. You have been sowing in the spirit, and the ground is responding. What you'll see in the physical will reflect what already shifted in the unseen. Doors will open with little effort, not because you finally became good enough, but because the weight of your intercession unlocked them long before you arrived. Hardened hearts will soften, not because you persuaded them, but because your prayers invited me to move. The enemy knows what you're beginning to realize. Your prayers have been working. That's why the opposition felt heavier. Your mind felt attacked, your confidence shaken, your clarity clouded. Hell fears a praying child who doesn't quit when answers take time. You didn't stop. You may have paused, cried, or doubted, but you did not walk away. You stayed, and I honored it. I moved in places you didn't even know needed my touch. I answered prayers you forgot you prayed, and I'm still working on the ones you're waiting on. Don't measure my hand by what you haven't seen yet. Some victories are still unfolding, but they're already set in motion. Angelic help surrounds your life. Assignments are being released on your behalf. The atmosphere around you is changing. You are not stuck. You're standing in a moment where Earth is catching up to what heaven already declared. Keep praying, not to beg me, but to stay aligned with what I've purposed. Prayer is not only a cry for help, it's a release of authority. And you, my child, are walking in more spiritual authority than you know. Watch how things accelerate. Watch how suddenly things shift. It won't be because of your strategy. It will be because of the seeds you planted on your knees. You moved heaven, and now earth must respond. You have walked through days that felt like years, watched calendars turn with no visible sign, and waited in faith for promises that seemed permanently delayed. I know how long you've held on without answers. I know how many times you quieted the questions in your heart. I watched you stay when others left. I saw you serve while wondering if anything was moving. What seemed delayed was not forgotten. It was preserved. By my authority, what lingered is being pulled into your present. I am speaking a command to what looked stuck, and when I speak, nothing can resist. What held you yesterday must release you today, not through striving, but by my word. Acceleration is being activated, not because time ran out, but because purpose is calling. The moments you thought were wasted are becoming momentum. The pace is shifting. What once took years will unfold in weeks. What you expected to rebuild slowly will rise swiftly, strong and whole. I am redeeming time that life tried to steal. The losses, delays, and missed opportunities will not define you. I'm not only restoring what was taken, I'm launching you beyond where you would be if nothing had been lost. My acceleration doesn't just catch you up, it carries you ahead. Held back blessings are being released in sequence. People you're meant to meet are aligning. Doors you prayed for are moving into your path, not randomly, but precisely. Everything is being timed, not late, not early, but suddenly. You're going to feel what it's like when heaven overrides hesitation. I'm giving you divine speed, not rushed or reckless, but purposeful movement into the place I prepared. This pace will not overwhelm you or drain you, it will energize you. I'm not just shifting things around you, I'm enlarging what's within you. Your wisdom is deeper now. Your discernment is sharper. Your strength was forged in silence. You're ready, not because everything is perfect, but because I prepared you. The delay was not punishment, it was preparation. Had I moved when you first asked, the foundation wouldn't hold what's coming. Waiting didn't mean I changed my mind. It meant I was strengthening yours. The process built stability that acceleration requires. When things move fast, roots must run deep, and yours do. They run deep in faith, trust, and resilience. That is why I can release what I held for the right time. I'm doing this now because the season has shifted. What was paused is now priority in heaven. This stretch will feel different. Pieces fitting faster, insights landing clearer, solutions emerging quicker. Don't resist the speed or second guess it. Just because the arrival took long doesn't mean the building must. I'm doing in months what you thought would take years. I'm healing what you believed would always ache. I'm opening opportunities that make up for seasons of delay. This acceleration is not natural. It's supernatural, commanded by me, not manufactured by people. Prepare your heart. Adjust your posture. Stay humble and rise in expectation. What felt stuck is responding to my voice. And when I say move, nothing stays the same. You're about to step into a flow where everything that lingered too long finally finds its place. Not because time caught up, but because I said, now. There are dreams you buried quietly, hopes you let go with trembling hands because they felt expired, promises that seemed so distant you stopped speaking about them. You told yourself it was too late, not meant to be, or that you missed the moment. Hear me. What you let die, I am reviving. What felt finished is not forgotten. What you mourned as lost is stirring again. Not by your willpower, but by my spirit. This is not the ending you feared. This is new breath. When I restore, it doesn't return the same. It returns better, stronger, and filled with purpose that could only come through the season of silence. You've been walking past the remnants of what once brought joy, unable to look at them because the disappointment felt heavy. I'm calling you back. Not to relive pain, but to witness resurrection. You didn't give up because you lacked faith. You let go because hope felt too costly. You don't have to revive it yourself. You don't have to pretend or force belief. I am the breath. I am calling it back. Make room for what's coming alive again. It may feel strange at first. Emotions will rise. Memories will stir. You may fear disappointment returning, but I'm not reviving this to break your heart. I'm reviving it for my glory. You thought the chapter was closed, but I've held the pen all along. What I write now will make sense of why it had to pause. Sometimes I let a dream sleep so it can wake with more power than it ever held. You have grown in the waiting. You've learned to depend on me deeply. And now you can carry what once overwhelmed you. This restoration won't be rushed. It will be intentional. It will begin subtly. A thought you didn't expect, a conversation that reopened something shelved, a door creaking in a wall you assumed would never move. It will be gentle and undeniable. When I resurrect, it's not for temporary comfort. It's for eternal impact. I don't bring things back to revisit the past, but to serve a greater future. I want you to dream again, not timidly, but boldly. Believe again, not because you feel strong, but because you trust the one who holds your future. Partner with me in faith, not just for new things, but renewed things. Parts of your purpose were on pause, not for punishment, but for timing. People needed alignment. Environments needed preparation. You needed refinement. Now the hour has come. Don't be surprised when doors you thought sealed swing open. Don't be afraid when forgotten desires rise. I placed them in you for a reason. They were dormant, not deleted. This is a holy reawakening. What once made you feel alive is returning, with peace instead of pressure, clarity instead of confusion, joy instead of striving. This time it won't come from your effort, it will come from my hand. Open your heart. Release the grip on what you called closure. The stone is rolling away, breath is filling the vision, and what you thought was over is rising. I know how often you've looked back and wondered if you fell behind, if the years without progress were wasted, if you missed something important. Hear this, not a moment was lost. Not a single season was without purpose. You weren't forgotten, you were formed. While you measured outcomes, I laid foundations. While you asked for movement, I created maturity. You weren't delayed, you were developed. What felt like a pause was a divine investment. The waiting wasn't inactivity. I was fortifying your heart, stretching your endurance, sharpening your discernment. You needed time, not to meet a deadline, but to grow into the depth your destiny requires. What's ahead will ask for wisdom, character, and resilience, and I've been building these in you when it seemed nothing was happening. Others may have moved faster, but you will go farther. Speed isn't the same as faithfulness. I shaped you through pressure no one else could see. The hidden work in you will soon become the strength others see. You did not miss your moment. I hold time, and when I release something, nothing can hinder it. Your timeline is not ruled by culture, age, or circumstance. It's defined by my purpose. I am never late. I prepare thoroughly because I'm after lasting impact, not fleeting elevation. For that, I had to take you deeper before I took you further. Think of what you learned in silence, the strength you gained in struggle, the compassion you developed without applause. Those can't be rushed. They're eternal ingredients that carry my power without collapsing under pressure. Others won't understand all you walked through, but I do. I was with you when you felt time slipping, when you mourned seasons that didn't match your dreams. I never mocked your questions. I held them. I never dismissed your fear of falling behind. I answered it with presence. You've been on schedule, my schedule. Now preparation is aligning with purpose. Things will come together more quickly, not because you push harder, but because you're ready inside and out. The doors ahead would have overwhelmed the earlier you, but not now. You'll walk through them with peace, knowing this wasn't luck or overnight favor. This is fruit from staying, surrendering, and trusting when you didn't understand. So stop apologizing for your process. Stop feeling ashamed of a different path. Lay down the weight of timelines I never placed on you. You're not behind, you're positioned. Where I'm taking you will redeem every moment you thought was meaningless. You'll look back and see I wasn't holding you back. I was holding you together. I wasn't delaying you, I was making sure what you build next will last. Preparation wasn't punishment, it was protection. Now that the foundation is secure, I can build publicly what I perfected privately. Time hasn't been your enemy, it's been your teacher. I am your redeemer, turning preparation into fulfillment, starting now. What looked like collapse, closed doors, betrayals, disappointments, made you think you strayed from my will. But those places were preparation. The ground where you lost traction became the platform where your character grew. You thought you were buried. I planted you. You thought you were punished. I positioned you. Not a wound, not a silence, not a loss was wasted. Pain taught compassion. Quiet taught discernment. Loss clarified what matters. You wouldn't know the depth of your resilience without the pressure that tried to crush you. Those same seasons activated the anointing you now carry. I let certain doors close to reroute you toward ones you didn't know existed. I removed certain people, not because you lacked value, but because your calling is too sacred for contamination. The environments you tried to fit were never meant to hold your destiny. Now, what once made you feel small is becoming the ground of your authority. Setbacks that embarrassed and delayed you are becoming the very things I speak through. I never waste pain, ignore the weight you carried, or allow suffering without attaching glory on the other side. Your calling is powerful because it grew in the soil of survival. You didn't get this from a stage. You gained it through tears, raw prayers, and showing up when nothing made sense. I am turning history into testimony, what tried to destroy you into a tool to heal others. The beauty of your calling is that it wasn't cheap. That's what makes it real and unshakable. I trust you with influence because you remember being overlooked. I built your voice where no one heard it. I forged your strength in the trenches. Now I lift you, not to put your name in lights, but to magnify my grace in you. You will lead with empathy because you know what it is to be unseen. You will minister gently because you've known sorrow. You will walk confidently, not because life was easy, but because you found me when everything fell apart. Do not despise those lessons. They birthed purpose. Don't wish them away. Without them, you wouldn't carry the wisdom and discernment you have now. You're not disqualified by the mess. You're equipped because of it. Your story isn't too damaged. It's exactly what makes your calling effective. I will use every piece, not only what you're proud of, but especially what you tried to hide. This is not just recovery. It is redemption. I am turning setbacks into strategy, scars into signs of victory. You didn't fall off track. You were being prepared where no one could see. The road that looked broken is becoming a highway to purpose. You've watched others move ahead, launching dreams, receiving recognition, stepping into what you've prayed for. You wondered if you missed something, if you misunderstood me, or if I forgot you. Hear me clearly. You are not late. You are exactly where I want you. Not because you did everything perfectly, but because my timing isn't dependent on perfection. Life is not passing you by. I have never lost track of you. The calendar you're watching doesn't define your calling. I do. What looks like delay is timing in my hands. I have never withheld out of punishment. I've protected your path so that when the moment comes, you'll carry the promise with integrity, wisdom, and peace. I don't measure your worth by milestones. I recognize your readiness by trust. And you have trusted me deep, even when nothing made sense, even when the breakthrough didn't come. Even when your timeline shattered, you stayed close, listened, and showed up in faith. That matters more than any clock. You're not falling behind. You're walking in alignment. I've been weaving connections in sequence so precise that if I had released what you asked for a moment earlier, it would have collapsed under immaturity or misplaced confidence. Now your heart is steady, your motives pure, your identity planted in me, not in outcomes. Because of that, you're entering a season that will look fast to others but feel like finally to you. Don't despise the pace I chose. I'm not only preparing places for you, I've prepared you for those places. The refining season stripped illusions and false identities. Not wasted time, but sacred ground. While others built visibility, you developed vision. While some chased speed, you chose surrender. That surrender is being honored with strategy. You'll step into moments that carry weight beyond their size. Conversations will open doors. Small decisions will lead to supernatural outcomes. You won't need to hustle. My favor will arrive before you. Let comparison go. You are not running their race. I wrote your timeline with eternal wisdom. What you're about to walk into will prove I never overlooked you. I've been arranging meetings, clearing obstacles, and setting intersections. You'll see them not as random blessings, but as signs that I was always with you, guiding and guarding. So release the lie that you're too late, too far behind, too old, or too inexperienced. That is fear, not faith. You belong to me, not to fear. You are in step with heaven. I don't rush or delay, and I don't start what I won't finish. My timing is not driven by pressure, but rooted in purpose. And the purpose over your life is unfolding exactly as intended. There were moments when your voice felt like it disappeared, unheard, undervalued, or unwelcome. Times you tried to share your heart and met rejection, resistance, or ridicule. Seasons you stopped speaking, not because you had nothing to say, but because pain wrapped your voice in chains. The enemy targeted your expression because he fears what happens when you realize the weight your words carry. He didn't need to steal your platform. He only needed you to doubt your voice. Today I'm telling you, your words matter. Your voice has been marked with power since your first breath. You weren't given a voice to echo noise. You were given a voice to release the sound of heaven. When you speak truth, atmospheres shift. When you pray, darkness trembles. When you declare what I put inside you, lies lose their grip. The enemy saw it, which is why he tried to silence you. Not always through obvious attacks, but through small discouragements and misunderstandings that made you think staying quiet was safer. Yet you're still speaking after battles, betrayal, and the inner fight between silence and standing firm. That is victory. Your voice is stronger now, not because it is louder, but because you learn to speak with love, purpose, and precision. You can tell the difference between noise and truth, and your words carry my breath. You no longer speak from insecurity, but intimacy, not echoing fear, but declaring freedom. You don't need a stage or a title to carry authority. You only need to remember who sent you. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. I did. I placed my fire in your mouth not for entertainment, but to uproot lies and release healing. You won't always see the ripple, but heaven does. When you encourage the weary, trajectories change. When you bless instead of tear down, chains fall. When you speak life over your own soul instead of rehearsing defeat, walls crumble. Don't underestimate your words again. You are my messenger, my echo, my vessel. Speak boldly, gently, and wisely, but don't return to silence. Use your voice not to defend your worth, but to declare mine. Speak hope where despair lingers. Speak peace in storms. Speak truth where lies shaped identity, and watch me move through your mouth. You'll notice rooms shift when you enter. People pause when you speak. Hearts open at your tone. That's not just you, that's me and you. That's not mere communication. That's my kingdom in motion. Your voice is not fragile. It's a force, not because of volume, but because of source. I gave it, I guarded it, I preserved it when sorrow tried to smother it. Now I anoint it for greater purpose. Speak, child, not to be heard, but to be used. When you speak in step with my spirit, you never speak alone. Heaven stands with you. The path behind you was heavy, detours, delays, days you wondered if freedom would ever come. You learned to survive storms, to function while carrying pain, to keep walking with spiritual fatigue. Hear me, that chapter is closing. What's ahead doesn't carry the old weight. You are not repeating cycles, you're stepping into something new. This next stretch will be marked by rest, not striving, clarity, not confusion, release, not resistance. The wilderness did its work. You learned to trust me without seeing outcomes, to lean on me instead of your own understanding, to recognize my whisper in the dark and feel my presence in the quiet. You thought you were stuck, but I was maturing you. Now that growth changes how you walk. Struggle was a season, not your identity. I didn't call you to be a permanent resident of suffering. That part refined you. It isn't your future. What's coming may feel unfamiliar at first. You were conditioned by pain, but I'm ushering you into peace. You grew used to disappointment, but I'm introducing consistent breakthrough. You're about to know what it's like to move without fear that the floor will collapse beneath you. This is a season of rebuilding on solid ground. I'm setting your feet steady and renewing your strength. You won't need to wonder where you stand with me. The fog you wore like a second skin is lifting, and I'm clothing you with confidence, not in yourself, but in who I am to you. This is not wishful thinking. It's my decree. I'm shifting you from battles to blueprints, from surviving to stewarding, from holding on to holding what I promised. You won't have to force what I already prepared. What felt out of reach will come into alignment with less strain and more grace. Not because life suddenly became easy, but because your posture changed. You listen now. You recognize me more quickly. You stopped chasing fast answers and began to love the slow, sacred unfolding of my will. Not everything will be perfect, but everything will be purposeful. Trials may come, but your response will look different because you carry revelation. You'll move from stability, not insecurity, from wisdom gained through fire, not fear. The enemy tried to break you and misjudged your endurance, and more importantly, he misjudged your God. Expect goodness again, not with arrogance, but with holy anticipation. You're not being set up for disappointment. You're being invited into fulfillment. Joy will return to places that forgot how to feel. Creativity will spring where stagnation lived. Laughter will fill rooms that carried too much mourning. This is not fantasy, this is restoration, and I'm writing every line. Lift your eyes, the new season does not carry the atmosphere of the last. Let the past do its work, but don't let it write your future. You know how fragile life can be. Now discover how beautiful it becomes when I carry it. You're not walking into a repeat. You're walking into redemption. There were times when everything fell apart. Relationships you trusted, plans you built, dreams you nurtured. Sometimes the break was sudden, sometimes slow, and you stood among pieces too sharp to hold. You tried to salvage what you could, prayed over ruins, wept over walls that once protected your joy. I saw it all. I never turned my face from your pain. What looked like permanent damage, I always saw as ground for something new. I didn't leave you in the wreckage. I started designing something greater when the first piece fell. I know the brokenness made you hesitant, questioning your worth, your choices, your ability to rebuild. But you were never meant to rebuild alone. What you thought was the end was a clearing. The structures that collapsed weren't wasted. They revealed what couldn't carry your future. Now I am rebuilding, not a copy of the past, but something deeper, stronger, and beautifully remade by my hands. I'm not patching holes, I'm laying a new foundation, every layer carrying purpose. You've grown since it fell apart. You learned what truly matters. You stopped searching for validation in places that can't define you. Your roots went deeper, not into fear, but into faith. You surrendered what you can't control. In that surrender, I'm crafting what cannot be shaken. This rebuild isn't about returning to what was. It's stepping into what was always meant to be before pain distorted the view. The dust around your feet is sacred. It may not look like much now, but soon it will echo with resurrection. Progress will come, not only in leaps, but in steady revelation. I'm rebuilding with vision, establishing peace where chaos ruled, and framing joy where sorrow tried to live. As I place each new brick, I'm inviting you to trust again, not blindly, but boldly. You don't have to fear another collapse. What I build cannot be destroyed by storms or shaken by opinions. It is grounded in truth, secured by promise, sealed with my name. The world may call what was lost failure, but I call it preparation. They may see brokenness. I see breakthrough. I'm not done, not with the structure, not with the story, not with you. Your scars won't limit the new, they will strengthen it. What you lost didn't break you. It built something inside, something invisible, internal, eternal. Now it's time for the outside to reflect what I formed within. Open your heart. Pick up hope like a tool. Let me show you redemption in motion. What I construct will carry weight in heaven and legacy on earth. People will step into what I rebuild in you and find safety, courage, and healing. You'll be a refuge, not just because of what you endured, but because you let me restore you. This isn't the end, it's the reinvention. I'm not asking you to pretend it never broke. I'm asking you to believe I can make it better. I won't leave you in ruins. I will raise you in strength. The foundation is set. Brick by brick, I'm building beauty where the enemy tried to bury you. You looked at your life and asked, how did I end up here? You had a picture of how it would unfold. And when reality shifted, it felt like failure, as if one wrong turn cost you time and peace. You retraced steps, wondering if you should have chosen differently, listened more, tried harder. Hear me. You weren't off course. You were in the center of my reroute. What felt unexpected was a calculated move of my hand. I let the scenery change because the road you planned was too narrow for the weight of purpose on your life. Some paths ended in dead ends or led to people and places that couldn't carry your vision. I redirected you, not to punish you, but to protect you. In that reroute, I guided you through territory that awakened parts of you that would have stayed asleep. Yes, it was confusing and stretching. It stripped away expectations and required you to release control. But it also deepened your dependence, trained you to listen in unfamiliar spaces, and taught you to trust me without familiar markers. It wasn't a mistake, it was a miracle in disguise. You hear me more clearly now. You rely less on circumstances and more on presence. That was always the point. To refocus your vision on me. While you adjusted, I aligned people, places, opportunities, and insights that now meet you on this road you didn't expect. The route you resisted will lead to doors you were born to walk through. I've been behind the scenes, repositioning pieces, shifting timelines, guarding your steps, because I see what's around every bend. Your view is limited. My guidance is not. You're not lost. You're led by wisdom beyond understanding. Don't despise where you are because it looks different than you imagined. This ground is sacred. It's preparing you for destiny, even if it feels like wilderness. I'm not just getting you somewhere. I'm forming someone in you. You're becoming more than you planned, because you followed a path shaped not by comfort, but by calling. Soon you'll look back at the road you almost resented and thank me. You'll see how I use chaos to align your calling with precision, how each confusing shift set up divine encounters that could only happen here. You'll realize you weren't wandering, you were wisely rerouted. I wasn't only leading you to a destination, I was walking you into transformation. Breathe. Release the guilt of where you thought you should be. Embrace where I have you. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. This journey isn't off track, it's on assignment. And where it leads will be greater than anything you would have reached on your original plan. I didn't change my purpose. I guided you into it. You've spent too much time looking back, analyzing missteps, replaying conversations, carrying guilt that isn't yours to carry. Regret has whispered that you've gone too far, lost too much, wasted your shot. Hear me. Stop punishing yourself for what I've forgiven. You don't have to carry the weight of yesterday. You don't have to keep rehearsing scenes I've already covered with grace. I am not standing in your past, I'm standing in your future, inviting you to walk toward what still can be. Your life is not defined by what went wrong. I don't label you by your lowest moment or measure you by your biggest mistake. I see your story through redemption. I see not only what was, but what will be. I am not limited by loss or restrained by what you didn't get right. I restore time, renew purpose, and resurrect potential. I'm the author who never runs out of ink. I'm not editing your story, I'm rewriting it. The chapters behind you didn't ruin the ending. They set up a bigger unfolding. What others discarded, I redeem. What you called wasted, I call woven. I turn ruins into revelation. I take broken pieces and create beauty that no one can explain. The mistakes you wish you could erase, I'm using them to deepen your compassion, sharpen your vision, and prepare you for what's next. The delays you mourned, I'm turning into divine intersections you could never plan. There's more ahead than you imagined. I haven't stopped dreaming over your life. For you to receive it, loosen your grip on what's gone. Regret is a thief. It steals focus, drains strength, and anchors you to who you used to be. You're not who you were, and you won't stay where you are. I'm drawing you forward, not dragging you, into peace instead of punishment and vision instead of shame. You don't need to know how it all comes together. You only need to trust that I'm weaving it. I don't need a spotless record. I want a surrendered heart. I'm not asking you to fix the past. I'm asking you to follow me into the future. Stop measuring what's ahead by your failures. Stop believing your best days are behind you. I'm preparing a future so full that it will quiet yesterday's sorrow, not by erasing it, but by overwhelming it with beauty. You'll see it and live it. It starts when you release regret and place your story in my hands again. You've cried enough over what didn't work. Now we build something new together. I'm not only promising restoration, I am declaring recreation, new paths, new doors, new joy, new understanding. You don't have to earn this, you only have to receive it. Your future has not been stolen, it is being rewritten, and grace holds the pen. You've asked for healing, and I have heard you. You prayed for the pain to stop, for memories to quiet, for the weight to lift. Healing has begun, but I want to give you more than recovery. I'm not here just to mend, I'm here to complete. Healing is the beginning, wholeness is the promise. I'm leading you into a season where you won't feel fragmented or live with half-closed wounds. I am making you whole, not patched, not barely functioning, but restored from the inside out. Healing addresses what hurt. Wholeness reshapes who you are. It goes beneath the surface and changes how you see yourself, how you show up, how you carry identity. I'm not interested in temporary relief. I'm transforming the way you've learned to live with brokenness. You were never meant to wear damage as identity or call a spiritual limp survival. You kept moving, and that was brave, but now it's time to be made new, not just better. Wholeness doesn't deny the pain, it rises from it. It doesn't erase your past, it removes the sting. It lets you look at what once crushed you and say, it no longer owns me. That's my offer. Not only freedom from the wound, but strength born from it. Not just deliverance from trauma, but transformation that refuses the lie that you are less. You are not broken goods, you are not incomplete. You will not live forever under the shadow of what tried to destroy you. What happened to you will not decide what happens next. There are rooms in your heart you locked because the pain was too much. I am gently unlocking them, not to harm you, but to heal you completely. I'm not intimidated by what's there. My love is ready to fill every hollow with peace, every empty corner with joy, every cracked foundation with truth. I'm coming for every hidden part, the joy you buried, the trust you forfeited, the hope you silenced. I'm calling it all back because wholeness means nothing missing and nothing fractured. You don't have to hide the parts that still ache. Bring them to me. I don't condemn your wounds. I redeem them. I don't shame your struggle. I shine through it. When I make something whole, it becomes stronger than before. This is the season you stop coping and start conquering. You are not just a survivor. You are a living picture of total restoration. People will notice the light in your eyes, the honesty in your smile, the courage replacing fear. Your answer will be simple. Jesus made me whole, not just better, but new. Bring me everything, not only the parts you think are presentable. Bring the pieces, the flinches, the questions, the memories, the fears. Let me finish what I started. You will step into a life that doesn't bleed from old wounds, but shines with undeniable wholeness. You've stared at entire seasons and wondered where they went. You've mourned years swallowed by hardship, disappointment, and pain. Dreams you shelved, opportunities that slipped through your hands, moments that weren't what you hoped, time felt wasted beyond reach. Hear this, I do not waste time, and I do not leave what's mine in ruins. The years you grieved, the chapters cut short, the time lost in confusion or crisis, I am redeeming all of it. I'm not bound by clocks. While the world measures minutes, I restore meaning. I turn delays into displays of goodness. The time you called empty was preparing you for fulfillment you couldn't imagine. I saw the silent battles. I watched you pour yourself into things that fell apart. I listened when your heart whispered, I'll never get these years back. My answer is this. You won't get them back the same. You'll get them back better. I won't just replace what was taken, I will exceed what was lost. This isn't compensation, it's transformation. I'm restoring what fear ate, what regret devoured, what waiting wore thin. You thought the fruit withered, but I preserved the roots, and new life is rising. You'll see it in your circumstances and in yourself. The version of you emerging is grounded, refined, and prepared. What you carry now could not be formed without the fire. What I'm giving next needs the maturity you gained. Yes, there were drought years, but the harvest I'm bringing will overtake loss. I will restore broken relationships. I will heal memories that made you flinch. I will align time so that what should take decades unfolds in moments. When it happens, you won't feel rushed, you'll feel redeemed. You won't panic over what you missed, you'll marvel at my timing. I don't just give back time, I give back purpose. The moments ahead will carry more weight, peace, and impact than the moments that felt wasted. Doors will open without the strain you once thought necessary. Connections will come without chasing. Restoration will unfold without forcing. When I restore, I do it so deeply that even your scars glow. So no more mourning what didn't happen. No more carrying too late. You are not behind, disqualified, or forgotten. I'm stepping into your timeline and rewriting the narrative. What you called over is the foundation of what I'm building. You waited in tears. I'm answering with joy. You prayed through pain. I'm responding with promise. What's coming will touch your life and overflow to others through you. This is not the end. This is me, your Redeemer, placing my hand on the years you thought were wasted and saying, watch what I can do with what they thought was lost. You asked me to fix what broke, to put shattered pieces back, to help you return to who you were before the storm. Hear this. I'm not restoring you to a former state. I'm reshaping you for something greater. You asked for repair. I'm not in the business of simple patchwork. I'm doing something new. I'm not sending you back to a past version of yourself. I'm revealing the person I always saw. What you've walked through has changed you, not by diminishing you, but by defining you. You didn't lose yourself. You uncovered yourself. The process wasn't meant to crush you, but to unearth what was buried under expectations, wounds, labels, and limits. You thought you needed repair. What you needed was revelation. Now step into it with confidence. I am redefining you by my promises, not your past. You won't see yourself through failure anymore, or carry who others expected you to be. I'm breaking false identities and giving unshakable clarity. You are not who they said. You are who I say. Chosen, established, deeply loved. Redefinition will feel like shedding and becoming. You'll lose the desire to return to normal because you've outgrown it. You're not returning, you're rising. Desires will shift. Circles that once fit may feel small. Old measures of worth will fade. Don't fear the change, it's transformation. I'm giving you a new language for identity and a vision beyond survival. You're not being rebuilt to blend in, you're being redefined to stand out. This is not about refurbishing an old frame, it's constructing something original, materials refined by fire, set in grace. You won't feel like you're piecing yourself together. You'll sense you were meant to look, live, and love this way. This is not a touch-up. It's deep change, reaching how you think, believe, and speak. With it comes a new peace, not fragile, but rooted in knowing who you are and who I am in you. You'll carry yourself differently, not with pride, but holy assurance. Your identity won't be tied to striving, comparison, or applause, but to communion with me. From that place, everything aligns. Relationships, calling, voice, and future. Release the need to be fixed. Let go of the image you tried to become. That version served a season. Now I'm calling you forward, into fullness, freedom, and identity shaped not by pain, but by my presence. What you discover will surprise you. You won't miss who you used to be, because who you're becoming will reflect my glory in ways your former self never could. You've lived in a fog, trying to move without seeing ahead, questioning decisions, second-guessing your own heart. You begged for direction and met silence. You searched for signs and waited for confirmation, but answers didn't come as you expected. I heard you. I never ignored your cry. I was preparing you for more than answers. I was preparing you for revelation. Clarity is not just seeing the path, it's understanding the purpose. I am lifting the veil. Confusion is breaking. The haze is clearing. You're stepping into divine insight, where things that never made sense will suddenly align, not piece by piece, but like a flood. It will feel like fresh rain, a downpour of perspective that changes how you see me, yourself, and the road behind you. This clarity won't come from noise outside. It will rise from within, born in my presence. As you draw near, you'll recognize thoughts that aren't from me and silence them with truth. You'll spot distractions before they pull you away. You'll sense red flags, not through fear, but wisdom. Uncertainty will lose its grip because your spirit will be led by intimacy, not impulse. You won't chase every voice or run from opinion to opinion trying to decide what's real. You'll know because I will speak with unmistakable clarity, not always loudly, but always precisely. I'll light your thoughts in ordinary moments. In stillness, I'll give direction. As it comes, peace will flood you, not because the path is easy, but because confusion is gone. I'm not sending you in circles. I'm sending you forward with vision. I'm highlighting connections that carry weight. I'm revealing purpose in pain. I'm showing you that nothing was accidental, not the delays, not the detours, not the things you almost gave up on. You'll see how every thread has led to this moment. As the picture clears, so will your confidence, not in yourself, but in me. Don't fear the shift. Things you tolerated will no longer feel right. Places you settled will feel tight. That's not instability, it's elevation. I'm making room for new direction, and to receive it, you must release the need to control every step. You wanted clarity to manage outcomes. I'm giving clarity to walk freely with me through the outcomes I prepared. This will change how you move, pray, love, and lead. Others will notice, not because you solved everything, but because you let me reveal what your heart was ready to receive. The peace will hush panic. The purpose will dissolve confusion. It will revive what's been dormant and awaken what's been asleep. Steady your heart. The insight is unfolding. I haven't left you in the dark. I've prepared your eyes to see. When light floods in, you'll know it's me. I'm the only one who brings light like this. There is a weight of glory I'm preparing you to carry that can't be sustained by yesterday's strength. What worked before won't be enough for what's next. Not because you failed, but because I'm taking you higher. I am not recycling old oil. I'm releasing something new. You've been poured out and stretched. Now I will fill you again. Not with what you lost, but with what you've never carried. You may have felt dry even while doing what you know, praying, staying faithful, obeying without the same fire. That wasn't weakness. It was room I made to pour in something greater, an endurance-born anointing. What I'm releasing now is for the work I placed in your hands. It can't be manufactured or mimicked. It can only be received. This anointing will touch every part of your life, felt not by spectacle, but by substance. You'll speak and things will shift, not from eloquence, but authority. You'll walk into rooms that once intimidated you and carry peace that steadies the air. You'll face challenges with wisdom that surprises even you. This isn't natural talent, it's divine enablement. My spirit equipping you for your next assignment. Yes, this will set you apart. It won't always draw applause, but it will draw notice that you're marked. Some will understand, some will resist. Don't water it down to make others comfortable. Don't dim it to fit spaces you've outgrown. You weren't chosen to blend in. You were appointed to stand out. Fresh oil carries responsibility, precision, and a call to steward without compromise. You won't need to force doors. This anointing will open doors hustle never could. More importantly, it will sustain you where I place you. The gifts I gave you are activating in new ways, not just for your benefit, but so others encounter me through your obedience. You are becoming a vessel of transformation, not just truth. There will be evidence, not loud and flashy, but undeniable. Fruit where there was barrenness, wisdom where confusion lived, courage where fear sat. Your words will carry more weight, not because you shout, but because your heart is clean. This oil flows from surrender, not self-promotion. I'm releasing it because I trust you to carry it. You asked me to prepare you. Now I'm clothing you for what that preparation was about. This isn't only a new season, it's a new mantle, a new authority, a new rhythm in me. You're stepping forward, not because you fought your way here, but because you were faithful with little and I'm entrusting you with more. Lift your head, wipe the tiredness from your eyes. What felt like survival was training for power. I'm not sending you out empty. I'm sending you out filled, saturated with my presence, sealed with my name, strengthened by my spirit. The fresh anointing is here. Receive it. It is yours for what's next. Amen.